Okay, so we have some mildly confusing and extremely strong kits to talk about. The details for Summer Cinderella and Summer Marciana's kits were revealed, so I'm gonna break them down for you and let you know if both of these units are Pog or nah. So let's start with Cinderella. So there's a lot of confusion about how the mode swap works for Cinderella, but essentially Cinderella has a machine gun mode and a sniper rifle mode. Whenever Cinderella reloads while in the preparation for change state, she is going to swap to her other weapon. So if she's using a machine gun, she swaps to a sniper rifle. If she's using a sniper rifle, she swaps to the machine gun. By default, the preparation for change state is going to be applied to Cinderella when she reloads to maximum ammunition. Now, from the skill kit description, it doesn't state that she has this buff at the start of combat. So it seems like to initially get this buff, you're going to have to reload and then reload again if you want to swap the weapon. The way that preparation for change works is that she will have a fixed reload time of 3 seconds for 6 seconds or until she fires the last bullet in her weapon. So this does not mean that Cinderella is going to swap her weapons every single time she needs to reload. It's something that you can control. So if you want to use her as a machine gun unit for the entire fight, you can. And the same goes for if you want to use her as a sniper unit for the entirety of the fight. This is something that you can control. It's not a playstyle of bouncing back and forth between the two weapons. So now that that is out of the way, let's talk about the skills themselves. Skill 1 is going to continuously increase Cinderella's attack damage by 24%. All of the values that I mentioned in this video are level 10 values. Every 5 seconds, Cinderella is going to deal 900% of final attack as damage to the enemy nearest to the crosshair. And Cinderella is the third unit that has the ammo mechanic. And every single time that your team consumes 200 rounds, the burst gauge is going to fill by 12%. Now let's talk about the skill 1 effects that are relevant to snipe mode specifically. Snipe mode deals a base of 62.13% of the final attack with a 250% maximum charge. She has a fixed charge time of 1 second and a maximum ammunition of 15. Additionally, she's going to have Pierce, and full charged attacks are going to expend 40 rounds. This does not mean that you're going to fully charge once and use up all of your ammunition. This means that fully charged attacks count as 40 rounds for the ammunition mechanic. Now let's move on to her skill 2. At the start of the battle and whenever Cinderella uses her burst skill, she's going to create a decoy of herself with 70.39% of her final max HP. Additionally, she's going to increase her attack by 29% continuously. Now the other effects of skill 2 depend on whether she's in snipe mode or machine gun mode. So if Cinderella is in snipe mode, she's going to have the destroy buff, which is going to increase the damage she deals to parts by 26.21% continuously. Also, whenever the team enters full burst after Cinderella uses her burst skill, all enemies plus parts are going to take 1,189% of final attack as damage. Now, if Cinderella is in the machine gun mode, she's going to gain the pinpoint buff, which increases her core damage by 26% continuously. When the team enters full burst after Cinderella uses her burst skill, all enemies with cores are going to take 833% of final attack damage as core strike damage, which means that this is going to benefit from core damage buffs. Now for Cinderella's burst skill, it's going to increase her attack damage by 92% for 10 seconds. It's going to increase her attack by 65% for 10 seconds. And the enemy with the highest final attack is going to take 6,000% of her final attack as damage. Now I already mentioned that Cinderella is not forced into using the machine gun or sniper playstyle. It's something that you can manually choose. Ideally, you would use her as a machine gun unit when you're fighting an enemy with a core, and then you would use her as a sniper everywhere else. Overall, this looks like an extremely powerful unit with a ton of versatility. She's going to synergize very well with Siren and Velvet because these are other units that have the ammo mechanic, and she's also going to be a great unit for burst generation in machine gun teams. So now let's talk about Marciana. Whenever your team enters full burst after Marciana uses her burst skill, the enemy with the highest final max HP is going to be flagged as the target designation. This target is going to take about 3,800% of Marciana's final attack as additional damage, and that target is going to have their attack reduced by about 10% for 10 seconds. Whenever the flag target dies, a new random enemy is going to be the designated target. Additionally, when Marciana lands 20 normal attacks against a high-risk target, she's going to deal 152% of her final attack as additional damage. We'll learn what a high-risk target is when we get to her burst skill. But for now, let's talk about her skill 2. At the start of the battle, Marciana is going to give herself 5 stacks of whistle. Each whistle stack is going to increase her attack by 32.73%, and it can stack up to 5 times. So at the start, she's going to have max stacks. Additionally, whenever there are 3 or less raptures on the field for at least 5 seconds, she's going to gain a stack of whistle. Whenever there are 6 or more raptures present for at least 1 second, Marciana is going to use Penguin Emergency Dispatch, which is going to use a stack of whistle to deal 214% of final attack as additional damage to all enemies. Now, the wording on this last part is a little bit ambiguous, but it reads as such: only activates when a rapture appears or is neutralized while there are 5 or fewer raptures. And while this condition is active, she's going to give herself a continuous elemental attack damage buff for 20.41%. So my understanding of how this condition works is that whenever there are less than 6 enemies, she's going to have an elemental attack damage buff. Finally, when Marciana uses her burst skill, she's going to increase her elemental attack damage by 30.97% for 10 seconds. She's going to increase her attack damage by 27.45% for 10 seconds. And she's going to designate all electric code enemies as high-risk targets. These targets have their defense reduced by 10.56% for 20 seconds. She seems like she's going to be a staple unit for Iron Week bossing and very good for low deficit campaign pushing. Cinderella and Marciana are going to be staples in Iron Week bossing, while Cinderella is also going to be used in neutral content. Summer Cinderella looks like a must pull to me, whereas Marciana looks a little bit more niche because of the specifics of her skill kit relying on the enemies to be electric code. If you're on the fence about who you should pull for, I'd rank the 4 units as such, including Summer Dorothy and Summer Ellig. Firstly, grab a copy of Summer Cinderella. She looks extremely strong. If you don't have Summer Dorothy, she should be your next pickup, and then Summer Marciana, and then Summer Ellig. Remember, Summer Cinderella and Summer Dorothy are 1% banners, so use your mileage on those banners and pull on Marciana and Ellig's banner if you're planning on going for them. Anyways, guys, please like and subscribe if you enjoy my content. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!